Welcome everybody to our industry mentoring program, Mentor Briefing for T1 2024. I'm joined here by my colleague Nicole Graham, and it's lovely to see so many of you here today. Before I start, I just want to say that over the last few years, we've done this via Zoom. And so I'm a little bit more familiar with Zoom as the medium for this. So I am learning as I go doing this on Teams. So apologies if you find me going in reverse when I should be going forward. Okay, thank you. Before we begin, I would like to do an acknowledgement of country, where Griffith University acknowledges the people who are the traditional custodians of the land, and we pay our respects to the elders past and present, and we extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Thank you. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we begin. This session is being recorded for those that can't log on during this lunchtime session or tonight. Attendees can use their microphones. You should be able to use your cameras as well. Use the chat function or the Q&A function if you have any questions. If we do happen to speak about any links or resources, we will pop them in the chat as well. Obviously, if you have any questions or want to reach out to us later, I'm sure you all have our personal email addresses, which go with, like mine is b.crowley@griffith.edu.au and Nicole's is n.graham@griffith.edu.au, but the general email is industry mentoring program@griffith.edu.au, and we're across all of that. Thank you. Now, the team, I'm going to let Nicole jump in and introduce herself, and then she'll hand it back to me, and I'll introduce myself if I haven't already.
Thanks, Brita. Hi, everyone. My name's Nicole. I'm actually Nicole Chambers, but Griffith infrastructure hasn't really caught up yet, so I'll answer to both. And I've been looking after the Griffith Industry Mentoring Program since 2016, but things started getting really exciting when Brita joined us a little bit later on. I am also a career development consultant within the careers and employment team. So, constantly funneling students into the program so that they can benefit from all of the amazing expertise that we have on offer. Brita, over to you.
Fantastic. And if you didn't know already, my name is Brita Crowley. I am the Industry Mentoring Program Coordinator. I joined the program, I'm going to say 2018. It's a little bit fuzzy. I know I joined Griffith in 2017, so I think it was 18 when I teamed up with Nicole to make up the fabulous IMP team. So I am on the program 100% of the time. So that means I'm usually your first port of call if you send anything through to that industry mentoring program email. I also look after all the approvals on the platform. That's for students and also for mentors. So, but anything that I don't know, I revert to the oracle that is Nicole Graham, or Nicole Chambers, I should say. Next slide. So agenda for today. So we're going to give you a program update. We're going to run through some mentoring tips and tricks. Nicole will do a platform overview. We'll open it up for questions. We would love to hear from you. I know we have many new mentors on today, but we also have some of our more established mentors. And I really do like when they share stories about their experiences in the program. I think it also helps to give people insight into how different people approach mentoring with their students. And I know we have plenty of stories to share. We'll talk about where you can get support, and we'll hopefully have everything wrapped up by 1 o'clock if I don't natter on too much. Next slide. So before I kick off, look, I'm not saying you should play this, but I really do think that today we might actually have a little thing called 30th anniversary bingo. because for anyone that's new in the program, you may not realize, but this program is celebrating its 30th year. So that means Griffith set this up in 1994, which is fabulous. I've been there for the 25th anniversary, and now we're doing the 30th anniversary, and it is such an exciting time to be part of the program. And I'm sure we'll mention it a few times throughout today's session. So the first person to get those six could shout out 30th anniversary bingo if you like. Um, but this program wouldn't be what it is without our mentors. We would not have a program. We would not be sitting here today. I don't know what I'd be doing at Griffith, even if maybe I wouldn't be at Griffith if it wasn't for you, the mentors. Our students wouldn't be thriving in successful careers, wouldn't be brimming with confidence as they approach graduation without your support. You make such a difference to the lives of these students. So many of them come to the program with a lot of insecurities, a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty around their future. And you have been that guiding light for them over the years. And we are truly, truly grateful to you for that support. So I just wanted to say thank you to you all for that at this time. So I always like to start by sharing some feedback that we've received over the years from mentors and from mentees. Now, again, I'll focus on the new mentors here today when I talk a little bit about this. So we get feedback throughout the year, incredible positive feedback, great stories of growth and transformation, great stories about friendships that were formed, through the program, all of that. But one of the main areas for this feedback is at our end of year event in November. So for all those newbies, we have an event in November on the Gold Coast and in Brisbane. And it's a coming together of our mentors and mentees to celebrate the achievements that have taken place throughout the year. Always a great night, always great fun, always fantastic to catch up with everybody. But during that night, we have an award ceremony. So it's our little Oscars, our IMP Oscars. During that night, we have an award for our mentors, which is the Mentoring Excellence Award. And then we have an award for our mentees, which is the Most Engaged Mentee Award. Now, how we determine the winners of those awards is we put out a call in October asking mentors and mentees if they feel their other half is deserving of the award to nominate them. And these nominations come in the form of testimonials, and our inboxes are flooded. Uh, Fantastic stories they've reduced myself and Nicole to tears, and that is no word of a lie. I think I shed a few at the Brisbane event last November. But they really are great stories where students will tell us that they wouldn't be where they are today without the support of their mentor, that they feel that they are ready and able to, take on the world after graduation, whereas before that they didn't, that they feel they have so much more clarity around the direction that they want to take their career, all of this. And it's fantastic. We are never short of news stories. Across Griffith Media, we're always publishing new articles, running little promotional campaigns, and we never have to look too far for a good news story. So I've put a few up on the screen here, and just four. So I love the first one. I love that, this student has said that their pathway was so much more clearer and that they have improved their communication skills by implementing that advice. So when we talk to our students, we always say to them, come with your A game, bring 100% of enthusiasm, apply what you learn from your mentor, and that is where you will grow. And you can see it in this person's feedback, that she did exactly that, and she's gained support for her career from work to progress her career. I always love this third one as well, because, when we talk to our mentors and we talk about what they bring to the program and what our mentees bring to the program, I talk to the mentees and I say, you're probably looking at this and thinking, what are you going to take from the program? What are you going to gain from your mentor? And I ask them to just stop for a moment and reflect on what they are also bringing to the equation. And I used this little piece of feedback where the mentor had said they had a great time talking about different management styles, but this helped the student with an assignment. But it also gave the mentor time to reflect and got the cogs turning, and they were able to take something away from those discussions and apply it to their manufacturing plant. So it's a lovely, I think it's just a lovely story of mentoring in action. Yeah, but as I said, we have plenty more feedback. If you do want to receive more of this just to get an idea, by all means, contact me afterwards. You can also look on our Facebook page where we put a lot of this feedback up as well. So that is just mentoring feedback. Next slide. I think it's nearly back to you now, Nicole.
Yeah, back to me. Thank you, Brita. So, what is mentoring? This is a topic that I usually like to talk about because in our program, mentoring means a lot of different things. The cohort of students that we work with is incredibly diverse. So we do have some traditional school leavers, people who have maybe come out of high school a couple of years ago, but increasingly our students, maybe older, mature age students, and we also at Griffith educate students from over 130 countries. So when we try to build a mentoring program that works for that level of diversity, we have to be really purposeful about creating a framework that is rigorous but flexible. And so I'll just let you read through the definitions here, but you can see that as you read through that there's quite a bit of diversity in what mentoring means. And so what we're hoping to do is to have a really inclusive definition, and so that it can be what you need it to be. It can be what the student needs it to be, and also that you can mentor, from your strengths and from your skills and knowledge. So when we look at mentoring, though, we definitely are seeing that mentoring behaviors have evolved over the years. So many of us who are a bit older, and I would include myself in that, can remember this traditional style of mentoring where, a mentor maybe sort of taps you on the shoulder. They think they see something special in you, and you become their protege. And essentially, your job is just to kind of do what they tell you to do, and everything will be fine. And traditionally mentoring has been for more for young people, and that you would put yourself in one pot or the other. You would be either a mentor or a mentee. Well, these old approaches, of course, were quite hierarchical. And so now we're looking more at that modern mentoring mindset. And this is really, how we work within Griffith. Our mentees will seek you out, and we'll talk a little bit more about how that works when we explore the platform. So mentoring becomes more fluid now, and people may work with lots of different mentors for lots of their different career development areas. And over the span of your career, you might vary the duration and the intensity of these relationships according to your needs. We think that it's especially beneficial to think a bit outside the box when you're looking for a mentor and draw on people who have different career paths and areas of expertise than you. And I can say that this is something that's worked really well for me in my own career. Like my mentors are from all over the place, and they always have fresh perspectives and fresh insights because they do things differently. So we do encourage cross-disciplinary mentoring. We do encourage people who are senior in our program, who might be MBA students who are, already quite advanced in their careers to seek out mentors. And we really love the idea that you can always be a mentor or a mentee. Um, just as the structure of mentoring relationships has changed, so also has the way that mentors do what they do. And this is great because it allows mentors and mentees to be a lot more authentic with one another rather than forcing a top-down approach where the mentor is feeling under pressure to have the answers all the time, which no one does. So we really encourage that, rather than the push behaviors, that the pull behaviors are really important. So the active listening, the empathetic approach, giving feedback and asking questions. And we really see this playing out, as a career development consultant, I can say that we really see this playing out in what organizations and employers are looking for, so that we hope that this opportunity to mentor in our program is helping you enhance these skills as well, but also it's building these skills in our students all the time, which is something that we're really excited to give them that opportunity. So our approach in AMP, there's sort of three things that we really try to prioritize in our program, because we feel that they cut across the diversity of students that we have. So, despite the diversity of students that we're working with, we find that they and really everyone that is working on their career development strongly benefit from the opportunity to learn from people in their industry, from supported growth experiences like professional development or work experience, and also, of course, the all important networks. But we aim to cultivate these for our mentors as well as our mentees, so that everyone benefits from being part of the industry mentoring community. So when we're thinking about this program, it's not just all about you directing your expertise at the student or students that you're working with. We're really looking for those opportunities to make sure that you're getting that same growth experience coming at you as well, in the ways that are going to be valuable for you. So, Brita, I think it's over to you again.
There we go. Take myself off mute. So, what does it look like for industry mentoring in 2024? I'm going to say, well, I hope that throughout this year, we will all be celebrating 30 years of mentoring, 30 years of fabulous successes, 30 years of learning and growth, all of that, which is fabulous. But for our students, they will be able to register
That's
for the program.
for people keeping track of bingo. Just throwing it out there.
So students are able to register until the end of January. So right now I'm very busy encouraging students to sign up to get through that registration process without delay. Their registration is a little bit more complex. I wouldn't even say but there are more steps to it than a mentor's registration, because we want them primed and ready for the off when matching happens on the 1st of February. Okay. So matching, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the program, matching is when students can actually send a request to you. So the great way that the system is set up is that, students can register onto the platform and they can search the database, but they cannot contact you outside of the matching period. So it means that, you're not getting bombarded with emails all the time, that there's a set period of time when they're allowed to request a mentor, and they can only send one request at a time. Okay. So that means when a request comes into you, you have to deal with that request before that student can move on to another mentor. So you have to either accept it or decline it, or else the student says, oh, I've changed my mind, I think I'll go with somebody else instead, and then they can withdraw their request. Okay. So that happens in that set period of time, 1 Feb to 29 Feb this year, because it's a leap year. So that's the matching period. If you want to know more about matching, you can have a chat with me afterwards and I can go into more detail. But I think I usually tend to do that with students, because it's really important for them. If they've decided, they've gone through the database outside of the matching period, they've browsed the profiles, and they've bookmarked the ones that they'd like in order of preference. So if they want their first preference, we recommend that they get on the 1st of Feb, 9 o'clock in the morning, get out of there early, so that they're the first in to send a request to that mentor. Okay. Because what happens is, obviously, the more, I guess, prepared and enthusiastic students, the ones that are, really keen, will be in there and grabbing those first options. Okay. So then once students are matched, and say a student sends a request to you on the 2nd or the 3rd of February and you accept it straight away, then you can kick things off then if you like. As Nicole had said earlier, we try and put in place a structured program that is also very flexible to work around mentors and mentees who are all very busy these days. So, but the official mentoring period is 1 March to 31 May. And then we have other events throughout the year. So for the last few years, since our 25th anniversary, I think in 2019, we have been running our Mentoring on the Move event, which takes place at the Gold Coast campus and at the Nathan campus. And then we also have our end of year events, which we're currently putting in place, putting all these things in place, booking dates, looking at venues. So we hope to be sending out more information around this in the future. One of the other things I'd like to mention at this stage, some things that we have done in the past, we have done little industry excursions, either online or in person, where our mentors have, approached us and asked to get, dig in a little bit deeper and support the program in other ways. So if you have any ideas, if you are looking at really getting involved and wanting that deeper connection with the university, we're certainly exploring, other ways that you can cooperate with us. We're particularly looking at a discipline specific mentoring events, which would be in line with our career readiness strategy. So that would be something that maybe you'd like to get involved in. I mean, if you wanted to host a little industry breakfast in the morning for some of our students, we would be very happy to organize that in your name. Um, so there's a lot of different ways that you can get involved, and we're always welcome and open to new ideas from our mentoring community, because one of the things that Nicole and I are very passionate about is trying to keep this program fresh and relevant to today's current generation of students. And your feedback is very valuable in that area, because you're out there, you're at the forefront, you're out in industry, and maybe there's things that are slipping us by that we haven't heard about. So we would really appreciate those fresh new ideas, that fresh perspective. And as I said, if there are any ways that you feel that you'd like to sponsor something, get more involved, whether it's our end of year event, all of that to make it bigger and better, we'll certainly sit down and have a chat with you. Other things, action on feedback regarding more engagement, Teams channels.
Do you want me to grab that one?
You please, Nicole, because that now I'm thinking it's a little bit in line with what I said, but you might know more information there.
Yeah, so we had some feedback, and this is, I guess, consistent feedback for us in the program, that there are definitely mentors who are eager to find ways to engage with the community outside of events, and to find more ways to kind of stay in regular contact. So this year, we have started two Teams channels, one for mentors and one for students. And so we will be leveraging these channels to do things like deliver training webinars, like this one, but hopefully on other exciting topics as well. But there are also ways that you guys can all communicate with each other, and we can set up discussions on whatever might be of interest to this community. So I will be adding everyone that is a mentor in this program. There are about 1,100 of you to a Teams channel, and I'm told we can get up to 5,000 before we can't use that platform any longer. So I look forward to engaging with you in that space and coming up with ways to make that really interesting, and connecting you all to the program throughout our 30th anniversary year. You're on mute, Brita.
There we go. So back to it again. So when I finish signing up the students, when they go through their 4-step registration process, okay, and then they're on the platform and they're able to search the database and all your profiles are there, and they'll pop up de-identified, and they'll be able to read through them and see, okay, that's the person I want. And then they're able to send a request, and you decide to accept that request, and everybody's super enthusiastic about kicking things off. Sometimes the students will kind of go, okay, so what now, Brita? What now? Okay. So during the second step of the registration process, I go through, how do you start things off? How do you kick things off? What are the milestones? Because we want to keep our students on track throughout this 12-week process so that they're getting the most that they can from the program. Okay. One thing that we insist is that it's student led. So it is the role of the student to drive the process forward. I am I drill this home to them all the time. It is not the mentor's job to crack the whip, tell them to set up meetings, all of this. They're the grown up, they're the one that needs to drive the process forward and take control of their own destiny. That's the first thing I say to them. Okay. So when we look at the milestones that we want them to achieve throughout those 12 weeks, here they are. This is what I say to them. The first thing we ask them to do is in one of those initial meetings, first or second meeting, bring along the mentoring agreement. This is an agreement, this is a template that they will find on the dashboard. And they bring that along to a meeting with you, whether that's meeting is face to face or online. And it is a document that they can use to sort of set up a contract between them and their mentor, you know, a roadmap for how they plan to approach the next 12 weeks. There's an area for them to list their learning objectives and to have a chat with you about how you can help them to achieve those learning objectives. One of the other things I say to them is many of our mentors have been doing this for years. They have come across students who may have different learning objectives that these students, your current mentor, mentee, may not be aware of. So it's always, you know, useful if you want to kind of go, have you considered this or have you considered that? This worked really well with my mentee in the past, so on and so forth. And then there's also an area there for you to schedule meetings. Okay. And I keep saying this to students, do their very best to pre-schedule those meetings, put them in advance. I always say it when it comes to things like the gym that I never go to because I never schedule time to go to the gym. But if I was to look at Nicole's calendar, she has scheduled time, and that's why she has fantastic biceps, and I'm not going to show you mine. Okay. So all right, she has put in the effort, she is prepared, and she is following through, whereas I'm not. Okay. So this is good for the students to see, you know what I mean, the two perspectives. So I say to them, try and plan those meetings in advance because everybody is busy. You're busy. You're here volunteering your time in the program. Our students are busy. And the only way to break through that business is put something into the calendar and you tend to stick to it. So I have been noticing since I've been driving this message home to them that I have noticed the feedback from mentors where they say, I've never come across my mentee this time around. They're really prepared. They're, you know, they're far more organized. And I think it's just sometimes it's the simple information that we point out to them. So pop all that in the mentoring agreement. Both of you sign it. The student should upload it to the dashboard. It is a student milestone, not a mentoring milestone. And then that is done. Halfway through the process, we ask you both to do a midpoint assessment. Again, it is a template. We will never make you face up to a blank piece of paper where you go, okay, where do we start from here? We're always providing support, resources, templates for you to use on the mentoring journey. So this midpoint assessment allows you and the mentee temperature check how things are progressing. Are you both happy with how often you're communicating? Are you happy with how you're, you know, meeting those learning objectives? Perhaps you want to go back and the student might want to look again at the mentoring agreement, add a few more learning objectives, all of this. It's just an opportunity for our students to make the most of these 12 weeks. We want them to iron out any issues that they might have because we can't do that after the mentoring session closes. Okay. So we ask you both to do that. And like a performance evaluation, you swap them, you have a chat about it. If you're both happy, all of that. So that's midpoint assessment, milestone number 2. We insist that all our local mentees, now this is mentees, not mentors. We're never going to insist on anything with you, but we insist that our local mentees, so that's our Gold Coast and our Brisbane mentees, attend our end of year events. Okay. This doesn't always happen, unfortunately. Things get in the way. But it is something that we try and insist with our students that they attend this event. It's a great way to acknowledge the support that they receive from their mentor. It's also a great way to put into practice things that they've learned throughout that time with their mentor and to be able to network with other people in our mentoring community. At the end of the year, on a trust basis, because the sessions are over at this stage, we ask everybody, both mentors and mentees, if they have time to complete the survey. This, as I said in the previous slide, is really important. Your feedback, our mentees' feedback, is vital for us to constantly improve this program. All of those templates, everything is found on the dashboard. And when Nicole is running through how the system works later, she can point out where you can find those. What do we expect from students? Okay, I've said a little bit of this in the previous slide. We expect them to drive the process. It is student-led, okay? So if you find you're not getting that from your student, pick up the phone, drop me an email, and I'll wave my big stick, okay? We want them to get the most out of this. We want them to come to this process willingly and see that if they put in the effort, to be able to see what they can get out of it, okay? So identify what they'd like to gain from the relationship. So that's around those learning objectives. You know, what is it that they're hoping to gain from their time with you, the mentor? What are the learning objectives that they have when they've come into this program? As I said, they may come with one or two ideas. You may have other ideas as well that you know, share with them so that gets the cogs turning and they go, oh, I hadn't really thought about that, but that is an aspect that I could really work on as well. I insist, Nicole insists, respect their mentor's time. If this is not happening, again, pick up the phone, drop me an email, drop Nicole an email, okay? This is a professional program. We expect our students to behave in a professional manner. We say to them constantly that if they're in this program, we see them as an extension of the university and we want them to uphold the values of the university. You are incredibly valuable to us. Without you, we would not have a program. And for that, we want them to respect your time. No ghosting, no disappearing, no not following up on communications, all of that. And then understanding that you bring value too. So what we say to the students is that, you know, you play your part in this process too. So you are asking those questions, you're giving the mentor an opportunity that maybe they may not have had to reflect on their own career journey. We want them to come, be prepared, bring the questions, follow up afterwards, all of that. Of course, respecting confidentiality. This is something that they really need to get a focus on now because it is something that they will need throughout their career. And be authentic. Come with your authentic self. Don't come with a false face. That's what we say to them. You know, you don't have to pretend to be somebody you're not. You're here. Bring your openness, bring your willingness to learn, and share those weaknesses that you'd like to work on as well. And then reflect, always take that time after the meetings to reflect on what your mentor has shared with you, what they're expecting from you, reflecting on all of that. I think it's incredibly important. And I love there's one mentor here he's not on today, but he has this little tip where if they have a meeting, he asks the mentor to go, the mentee, sorry, to go away and within 3 days to send back kind of a synopsis of what they thought happened during that meeting. What was the discussion about? And it's great because sometimes we're in these discussions and you're sitting there and you're not realizing that you're actually learning something or that you're taking anything in. But when you have a moment to reflect on it and to consider it, you go, oh, I hadn't thought about it, but yes, they said that and that'll stick with me and that will stay with me. So I always think it's a lovely way to make sure that you know your mentee is listening, that they're taking it in, that they're processing it, and it also helps with those follow-up meetings as well. So that's what we expect from students. Tips and tricks. I think this is mine too, Nicole, 24. I'll take it, will I, Nicole? I might as well. So, as I said, setting a contact schedule and clear boundaries around your time. Okay. What we don't want them to do is be sending you texts when you're trying to make the dinner, eat the dinner, do your children's homework, all of that, going to bed at night and suddenly bing, bing. I had this other question. So, I want you to make sure that when you do come to the process, that you set those clear boundaries around your time and when you're available and what it is that you can offer as well. Okay, be very clear around those expectations. And as I said, if you can at all, try and work with the student to schedule those meetings in advance. It is really helpful. be open about expectation, ground rules, and goals. Absolutely. As I said, students may come with, high ideas about traveling with you at work. I don't know. I'm just throwing those out there. But just be very clear about what you can offer to that student and setting those rules. Listen, then advise. So what we're talking about there is sometimes we're often in a hurry. I am anyway. I'm a problem solver. Is to rush in and fix the problem as opposed to allowing that person to, fix the problem for themselves. So taking on board what they have to say, and instead of offering the solution, maybe perhaps giving them guidance so that they can find the solution themselves, or that they have the solution there, they have the answer, but just showing them those signposts so that they can reach that answer themselves. Um, if possible, this is one thing we love, and we are so grateful to you, our mentors, for this, opening doors to your networks. I know that they are incredibly valuable and important to you, but one of the areas that I find students really have that they get a bit frightened about is this idea around networking. Oh, it's a bit complicated. When really all it is like having a chat, listening, hearing, having those people in your network. You may not need them now, but down the track, you know what I mean? You may be able to tap into that resource, and vice versa. And they just, they have a mental block about that whole networking. So if you can at all, is open up your own networks to them, give them an opportunity to network with you, give them guidance on how they should network, all of this, whatever it is. It's attending events, it could be job shadowing, informational interviews, tips and tricks around how you use LinkedIn and how they can use LinkedIn, all of that. And then empowering your mentee to think through challenges, giving them the toolbox, giving them, access to the tools that they can use so that they can face, whatever challenges are down the track for them in their career. Okay. All of those are just some ideas about how you can support your mentee. I'm sure you have many more as well. And I'm very happy to hear any of those at the end of the session, because as I said, I love to see these sessions being a little bit more interactive so that we can all share this valuable information. Okay, that's me done, Nicole.
Okay, I'm going to try to be pretty speedy through this last little bit so that we can bring it home to you guys on time. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about goal setting, because goal setting is, of course, a really important part of any mentoring relationship. And many of us will have heard about and used SMART goals, and there's nothing wrong with SMART goals. SMART goals are great if they work for you, and and that you find that they are motivating and empowering for you. There is research that is showing that for some people, though, SMART goals are actually disempowering because they're a little bit all or nothing. So you achieve them or you don't achieve them. And if you don't achieve them, you can become a bit demotivated. But the good news is that there really is a goal setting model for everyone. So we often talk to people in this program about the GROW model, because it's a great model that brings a little bit of fluidity into the conversation and looks at that really important question of, what's the actual will that you have to make this change or to do this work. And open goals or fuzzy goals are another way that we find that mentors can work with their mentees to motivate action or change. So we encourage you to use whatever goal models you find useful and bring those in, and to have those really frank discussions with your mentee around, what kind of goal setting motivates them. And if anyone would like to have discussions about this with us, we've got a range of resources on the IMP website, but we always have some cool goal setting resources up our sleeves in the program as well. And I suppose I also wanted to just share this. I share this every year because I think it's a really powerful graphic. And, as you mentor your student, it's really important to remember that your mentoring relationship is actually way more than one-on-one. The knowledge that you share with your mentee is often shared with their network of peers. So your impact is actually far greater than what you can see or measure. And another great benefit to working with a mentee is that it provides this opportunity to deepen your own knowledge, but also enhances your communication and leadership skills. So I'm one of these people, it's a very annoying thing, but I work things out and I learn by talking. But I think, for me, I find that very beneficial. And when I engage in these kinds of mentoring partnerships, I know that it definitely enhances my learning and it enhances my communication and leadership skills. So, what happens when our communication skills and our leadership skills are enhanced is that we are much more likely to step up and to back ourselves in communicating our expertise to others, which of course extends our reach even more. So, we hope that this is something that you experience as you work with us this year. Whether you're a mentee or a mentor, there's a lot to gain from being involved in mentoring. Increasingly, we see organizations highlighting mentoring as a skill that they want their people to cultivate and to bring back to their workplaces. So, we are really eager to support you and your development of these skills. And so, if there's an area where you would like to learn, we have the benefit of being situated within a university which has expertise on so many relevant areas. So we can connect you to people who have the knowledge if we don't have the knowledge ourselves. So we're eager to support you and we're eager to support your organization if these things are a priority for you. So let us know, reach out to us. Breed, I think I'm handing over to you to explain badges.
I'll do it in 30 seconds. We
Okay,
offer
yay.
digital badges. There's an email that comes out at the end of the year. We then like you to display them on LinkedIn. There's no point going into it now, but you can see there's a page load of badges there. And doing that on LinkedIn is great as well. So more information about that in October or November.
Excellent.
And next slide was
Did-
what else do we expect? Invite your colleagues. Absolutely. I signed up a new mentor during the week and she shared the information with 10 other colleagues. We love expanding this network. We love expanding this community. So, and students are always coming with new requirements and new needs and all of that. So definitely please share this information around, share stories on LinkedIn. Please do share stories about the program, what you've achieved with your mentee. All of that is really helpful. Provide us with photos. We love a photo. We've thinking at the moment of how we can use photos for the 30th anniversary. Yay! And host industry excursions. Absolutely. If this is something that you can do for us, for our students, we would be very happy to work with you and make that happen. And of course, as I said, feedback and ideas. This is a community. This isn't just me and Nicole captaining the ship. This is a community of rowers, and any idea and any feedback that you can bring to the process would be very, very welcome. Thank you. There you go. You're on mute.
Did someone speak? Or oh no, I thought I heard someone's voice. As we're getting to the end, I'm just going to skip past this because I recognize not everybody will need a tour of the platform. We've got quite a few mentors on here who are experienced in using it, but I did want to just wrap up that last point before we hit 1 o'clock, which is where to access support. So. As a first port of call, it's really beneficial if you're experiencing any challenges with your mentoring partnership or you just want to talk through some things, or, if your student is experiencing some challenges with their well-being, to reach out to Brita or I in the first instance. And you can do that either by our personal email addresses or via the industry mentoring program email address. We do check them both and regularly. Um, if we are not in a position to give support, let's say the student requires a referral to our counseling and well-being team, we're a great source to make a really quick referral into that right level of support for them. So please, if you're experiencing challenges, let us know as soon as possible. We're going to jump in and support you, but also make sure that the student gets the right support that they need. So if you don't need a tour of the mentoring platform, this is just an opportunity for us to wrap up. And if you have any questions, you could maybe give them to us at this point um, via the chat, or you could speak into your mic.
I'm going to go through these. Lilia,
Okay.
lovely to see you. Hey, Nicole Breeder, the Teams channel is a great idea. It is, isn't it? Promoted platform communicate. Wonder, can we also have a LinkedIn groups for mentors, mentees, so we can get more career updates for each other's? That's a really interesting idea. So we'll definitely have to put that into the pot and stir that one around, Nicole. Oh, you answered that. I would love to do a morning mentoring session, how to network with the students in the future. MJ, Megan, fabulous. That's great. Thank you. And you've done that.
We have a question down at the bottom. So we've got mostly comments, but there's a question down at the bottom, I think. I can't see who it is, FDC. How often do you meet with your student and what is the structure? Is it led by the student? Did you want to take that one? And I'll swap over to the site.
Okay. Sorry, I can't see that question, but look, over the 12 weeks, we expect our mentors and mentees to connect for a minimum of 6 hours. Many people will do more than the 6 hours, but we feel that 6 hours is the minimum amount of time over that 12 weeks that students need to get some benefit from working with a mentor. Now, just to break that 6 hours down to you, that could be a half an hour a week. It could be an hour a fortnight. Nobody is telling you you have to do them in those blocks of time. The whole idea here is that it's to work around schedules and busyness and all of this. So you may find that you will meet a lot at the start and then it'll peter out towards the end. You may find that there's a point when you mightn't be more available, then you can work around that. They don't all have to be face-to-face meetings. If you're an online mentor, there can be via Zoom, Teams, phone, whatever it is that works best for you. Okay?
Brilliant. Okay, so let me just check the chat one more time. Yep, that looks like that's everything there, and I don't think that there's anything in the Q&A. Okay, Brita, are you able to see the screen? The IMP screen? Okay, fantastic. All right, so for people that are still here, this is a quick tour of our mentoring platform, just so you can get a sense of what is the functionality that is available here to track your relationships and to record your experiences. So I'm logged in under a false profile, which is called John Mentor. But when you log into the site under your credentials, you'll see that a lot of the things that you'll need to access here are, up at the top with your account settings. So the first thing I'll do is I'll look at the account settings and we'll just load those. So what we can do here is if you need to change your email, if you need to change your password, this is all things that you can do very easily. If you need to make yourself invisible or put yourself on a mentor vacation, you get too busy, you can't, allow the time for the program for this particular period of time, you can make yourself invisible for certain periods of time if you know you're going to be challenged time-wise, or let's say you're on maternity leave or you're having a career break and you don't want to be mentoring, then that's what you would do there. You also can set the number of mentees that you would like to work with, 1 or 2. Please don't hit the 0 button. I know it's there and it might be tempting, but what that does is it makes you visible, but it makes everyone it's impossible to request you. But because you're not invisible, we don't pick up the fact that you're not participating. So sometimes people will put themselves on 0 accidentally or on purpose, but then not remember that that's what they've done. And then they might ring us up and say, hey, why haven't any students requested me for a year? And then we look into their preferences and we find, they've put themselves on 0. So, but we've had no idea. So inbound contacts is how many mentors, so how many of your fellow mentors would you like to contact you at any given point? So we do make it possible within our program for mentors to search each other up in the system and to contact each other. So you can say, oh, I don't really want to be contacted by any other mentors, or hey, I'd like up to 5 people to contact me at any particular time. So those are our participation settings. You can also add in any additional contacts through social media, any other email accounts that you have that you don't mind being contacted on by us or by your student. And then we also have accessible forms, so you can turn that on if it's something that you require. Now, if we come away and we go back to the home page briefly, we'll see that if John Mentor is currently matched with Julie Mentee, so anyone that you're matched with currently is on your home page, and you can access all of the functionality of the relationship just by clicking on their name. We'll get to that in just a second. So on the left nav is all of your sort of, normal functionality. So if you want to edit anything in your profile, you can just click on the profile link and do that. Your messages obviously will show up. I won't go too much into the obvious things. If you are searching for a mentor that if you're looking for expertise within our system, you can search the fellow mentors to see who is in there. You cannot search for students. So students can search for you, but you cannot search for them, but mentors can search for each other. Any of your current connections will show up on your connections page, and anyone you've been connected to in the past will also show up and in your past connections. So if, let's say, you've mentored someone a couple of years ago and you think, oh, that person would be great for a job or something, you can still reach out and contact them. You still remain connected in the community. This is our calendar, and when you in your mentee schedule appointments through the system, they actually show up here, and you can get them to show up in your calendar, the proper calendar that you use for work as well. Any events that we have coming up are here, and you can RSVP for those events just via the dashboard. It's often the easiest way to do it. And any documents that you upload to the system that you might want to share, will just be here, and they'll also show up in the mentoring dashboard as well. So let's go and look at how we would work with the relationship. And so we'll click on this relationship with Julie Mentee. So we can see with Julie that all of the messages that are exchanged in the system are held by the system. An important note is that when a student messages you via the system, which they will do when they send their initial request, if you respond to that system email, then your response is also pulled into this conversation. So if you are communicating in the system, even though it doesn't appear that you are, everything gets dragged in, which can be quite helpful. So we don't enforce it. It's not a requirement. We know that a lot of mentors and mentees will exchange personal email addresses or text each other or WhatsApp or whatever. So it's just there if it's something that's useful to you, and otherwise no need to use it. We do ask students to log their interactions with their mentor, and we can see that, goals are logged. So when you set goals, those are logged. And you can also log your meetings or phone calls, or when you've exchanged a text or a video chat or done some work shadowing. And you can also reflect on whatever that interaction was. So if there's something about that interaction that you want to remember for next time, you can write your notes there. Now, when you write your reflections, they're only visible to you. So Brita and I can't see them. Your mentee can't see them. It's only you that is visible to. Um, Here's that scheduling feature that I was talking about. So let's say that, you have 2 hours on Monday, an hour on Wednesday, and an hour on Thursday. You can propose all of those appointments to your mentee all at the same time, share your availability, and then they can pick something from that availability. So it's quite a good little feature. And then you can add that to your calendar. Any documents that you share with your mentee, you can upload here. If you would like your mentee to do some work experience with your organization, as long as the mentee is a current student, so some of our mentees will be within 1 year of graduation, but many of them will be current students. If they are current students, the university will cover their work experience by insurance. So we will put an insurance letter for you in the shared documents if you let us know that the student is doing work experience with you, and we'll prepare this and upload it here. And then finally, these are some of the milestones that we set in the program. So, this is just a quick way to see if you're on track with achieving your milestones. And any resources like the mentoring agreement, the midpoint assessment, all of those things are accessible. They're in various places. They're in the resources part of the website. They're in the workflow for students and for you once you're matched, but you can also access them here. And then finally, we have a goal setting tool. And so this is something that you can tick off goals, you can add goals through the program, you can assign goals to one or both mentor or mentee. And this is just something like quite flexible for you guys to have a look at when you catch up. Oh, have we hit that goal? Yay, let's celebrate that. Or no, we haven't. We need to refocus. So that is a brief summary of what we offer from the platform. You are also able to video chat with your student directly from the platform if you choose to use that feature as well. So I'm really happy. I'm quite mindful that we've run over, but I'm really happy also to take any questions about the platform or anything else that we've covered today. I'll just have a look at the chat and see what's in there. Okay. Beautiful. Someone had to go. All right. It looks like we don't have any questions, but you've got our contact details. So if you do wish to reach out for questions later on, or something pops into your head, then please reach out to us. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and we look forward to working with you throughout the year. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.
Okay, Eileen, just responding to your question, if you're still online, you can't see the midpoint assessment until after you're matched. So it will actually show up when you're connected. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.